Welcome back to Ben's Garage. It's another glorious day. As you've probably seen from the title, I'm just going to go over some little hidden features on the Range Rover. They're not exactly hidden if you've got the owner's manual and you've read through it, which I haven't. I mean, I've got the owner's manual handbook. It's all in French. I have got the English version on the computer. There's a lot of things on the Range Rover that you might not expect it would do. And I'm just going to go over a few of those for you today, just to highlight them. I'm not surprised, but there are a few things on here which make you think, oh, that's a nice little feature to have. But there are a lot of things that you can do with the Range Rover rather than just drive it. You know, it regards to suspension, locking the car, all that kind of thing. There's a lot of settings in the menu screens on the TFT display. As I said previously, this is a funny changeover year, so it's got a lot of the features of the 4.4, although it's the 3.6. It's got a lot of features with the TFT display and other bits and pieces that they've put into this car, but some of them are not functional. Like with the TFT display, I can go into the menu. The service menu is blanked out. Now that's because on the 4.4 and newer Range Rovers, you can go into the service menu and check your oil level, and it'll tell you how much oil you need to put in it to bring it back up to level and all that kind of thing. This car hasn't got that, so you have to get out and do it by the dipstick. But there are other things on here. I'm trying to work out what this car came with as an optional extra. I've sent off to Land Rover. This is a Vogue SE. Now, I've been told that the Vogue SE should have screens in the headrests, in the back of the headrest for the rear passengers. It hasn't got those, but whether some options were taken off and others were put on because this has got a lock-in rear diff. But anyway, that's for another video. And there are some things on this car that I think it should have, but it hasn't, like the adaptive cruise control. So we're going to crack on. We'll make a start. Now, one of the first things I'm going to cover is the suspension. There's three little things on the suspension. You've got three ride heights. You've got access mode, normal ride height, and off-road height. Now, this little hidden feature, you haven't got any control over it. It's extended mode. If you're in off-road height and you're off-roading and you bottom the car out, or it struggles a little bit on one wheel, it will put the suspension down a little bit further on that one wheel just to push it down into the floor a bit more to give you some traction to get out of where you're going. That one, you haven't got any control over. It's all done automatically. You can't select it or anything like that. But there are some other things you can do with the suspension. So, you're in access mode. Normally, access mode reverts itself to normal driving mode when you hit a certain speed. I'm not sure what the speed is, but it's 2 to 3 miles an hour or something like that. And then it will pump itself back up to normal ride height. Now, say you're in a multi-storey car park, or you need to get under a car park barrier. In access mode, you might be able to do it, but obviously automatically it goes up on its own. So we're in normal ride height in a minute, so I'm going to put it into access mode. Comes up on the dashboard and the car will lower itself. Same as if you press the button on the door here. So we're in access mode. If we was to now start driving, once we got a bit of speed up, it would come back up to normal ride height. Say if you're in a multi-storey car park, that's not the best of things to happen if you can get it in. So what you can do is down here, press and hold the down suspension lock to access height. That will now stay in access height till it gets to 24.8 miles per hour. Between 18.6 and 21.7 miles an hour, you'll get a message warning to drive slower, basically, because once you hit that 24.8, it's going to pump back up. To get it back off, you press the up button for a couple of seconds, access height selected, we're back to normal, we're good to go again. So that is spot on, really. So the last thing I want to cover on the old suspension is you can actually alter the suspension height outside the car using your key fob. I've got the owner's manual, but it's in French, and I could sit there and translate it all, but it hurts my head. So a lot of these things, I might have known that they were there had I flicked through the book. You might have bought a Range Rover and it hasn't got the owner's manual, owner's handbook. Now this feature is really good if you're reversing up underneath a trailer. So you could lock your access mode so it's sitting really low. You could watch in your screen in reverse, get it underneath the trailer. Now what you've got to do, if you want to get out, make sure all your doors are shut, put your hazards on, and with the buttons, you've got a headlight button, you've got unlock, and you've got a tailgate open. So to raise the suspension, press and hold the headlight and the unlock button. Now we can do this from outside the car, so we'll just press it. Now if you press and hold it, it will go up to the next level. So we're in access mode, that will then go up to normal ride height. If you stop halfway between the two, that's where the car stops. Which, you know, if you're going to reverse under a trailer and you've got it all lined up and you're on your own, say, and you want to just put your suspension up, hazards on, shut the door with your key, press those two, normal height selected, we're going up. And that's it, we're at normal height. Hazard lights are still flashing. They do seem to go quiet while it's doing its height change. And then to come back down, it's the headlight and the tailgate button. So let's do that now. Access height selected, we're coming down. Keep your finger on it. Once it's down the hazard, you can hear the hazards going again. So that is a really good feature. Not a lot of people know about it, but I'll say if you've read the handbook, you'll know all about it. So that's that. We'll switch that back off. That's pretty much the suspension covered. So we've got auto dipping mirrors. You put it into reverse, both the mirrors dip, or they don't have to dip. So what we can do to get them set up is foot on the brake, obviously, stick it into reverse, your mirrors dip. What you can do now, you can adjust your mirrors so that while it's in reverse, so you can see what we're doing when we're reversing. So we'll change that side and we'll just change that side like that. So now when we put it back into park, the mirrors set themselves back to where they are. So we put in reverse and the mirrors change. Perfect. Now your reverse dip mirrors, you can actually change that in the settings. You can go into the menu, you can select it on or off. While you're in there, you can set drive away lock-in, easy entry exit. You can have a speed warning come up and high beam assist. Now you can go into high beam assist, activate assist and select which side of the road you drive on. I didn't even know the car had that, to be honest. I know it had the automatic headlights, but I didn't know the high beam assist was on it. So basically, you switch it onto automatic headlights, don't touch your stalk so that it's in the dip beam, and it will put the main beam on automatically. When a car comes towards you, it dips. I will probably try that out at some point, but at the moment we're locked down again, so it won't be happening anytime soon. So as I say, we on the 3.6 with the TFT's display, the service side of it's all greyed out. If you've got the 4.4, you can actually go into that and check your oil level, like I said before. Next thing we want to check is on the, we can go into the diagnostics on the touchscreen display, hit the home menu, hold in the middle of the screen for 5 seconds. Press navigation. Now we get this code come up. So you can put in the code 753, okay. And it brings up this menu. You can have a play with it, see what's in there. You know, you can do your video inputs. You know, you can configure your cameras and stuff. If you want, you can now set your camera so that it's running all the time, and you can drive like this. Next time you switch everything off, it will reset itself. If you're towing a trailer and you want to watch what's going on behind you while you're driving, you can do that. You can have the TV running while you're driving, but I wouldn't advise that. It's against the law for a start, which is why this has got the dual display. Your passenger can watch telly and you can see the sat nav, which I think is quite a good feature. So yeah, you can bring up the rear view camera and, you know, we'll click back on the home menu and it comes back out of it again straight away. There is another menu you could go into on that rather than putting in the 753. And look, this is another good feature of the Range Rover. Wherever you park it up, someone always brings you a nice cup of tea. Oh look, that's a Ben's Garage mug. So you can go into the menu and rather than putting in the code 753, you could put in the code 134679, and that will bring up a more comprehensive menu system. But just be careful because you can erase software and all sorts in that menu. I wouldn't advise doing it if you don't know what you're doing. It's not the sort of thing that you can play with. The 753 menu, it's quite forgiving. You can't really erase anything. You can just change settings and read, you know, configurations and all that kind of thing. The other one is a bit more involved, more for technicians. So, you know, if you're not that way inclined, steer well clear of that. So your windows are down, sunroof's open. You want to go and lock your car. So lock it and hold the button down. Mirrors fold in. Sunroof's closing, windows are going up. Now, alternatively, if you are parked in a hot car park and say, you know, you're coming out of work and you want to open your car up for 5 minutes before you get in, press the unlock button and hold it down, all the windows will open as well as it unlocks. So keep the button held down. All the windows and the sunroof open. How'd you like that? That's pretty clever. Now on the key fob, if you want to do what they call a super lock, you lock it, you press it once and press it twice. Now there are some functions that you can have added to your car. Either the dealer's got to do it, or if you know someone who's got a gap IID tool, things like you can have it so that it super locks on one press. Or you can switch your daytime running lights on, so your front and rear side lights will be on during the day. I'm not interested in all that. I don't tend to use super lock because we had that issue with the TD6 where that was super locked and the battery went flat, we couldn't get in it. So that pretty much covers it really for hidden features. There might be some more out there that I'm not picking up on, so if there are any that you know of, let us know in the comment section below. But for me, I mean, I just love this car, and there's always something that surprises me. It's like I was trying to find out what spec I've got in this car. I've got the Harman, I don't even know how to say it now. I've got the Harman Kardon Logic 7 system in this car, which is it's 14 speakers. I've got 3 speakers in each door. I've got one in the front. There's loads in the back. There's a subwoofer in the boot with an amplifier. I didn't realise it had all that. I knew it was a good sound system, and it can be quite bassy if you do the right settings. But yeah, so I have got in touch with Land Rover to see what spec this car came with, and that'll be another video that I'll do. But there, it's all these little hidden things and they call it Easter eggs, don't they? That are just brilliant. I think a lot of cars have got it really. They got little functions. As I said, everything's in the manual, the owner's handbook. So if you've read that, you'll probably know all about these anyway. All the different things that you can do in the menu, like as you drive away, it locks all the doors and all that kind of thing. This has got the auto dimming mirrors as well, which I found out the other day when I had something covering the I clipped an action cam onto the mirror and all the mirrors went dark. So I was like, oh, what's going on here? So there's a lot of little things, but as I say, I don't think it's got the adaptive cruise control. Because in the menu, if you've got that, you can select the forward assist or something. I think that's all to do with that. So that's pretty much it for this video. For our little hidden gems on the Range Rover. There are a lot of little hidden things on the earlier version. I'm not sure about the TD6, whether it can do all the suspension functions that I can on the key fob or not. I've not tried it, and it's just still sat around there. So yeah, for this particular year, 2010 3.6, these are the little hidden things, and you can dive into the menus and stuff like that. I've only got the 2-zone climate in the back rather than the 4-zone, but I've got heated seats in the back, heated and cooled seats in the front. They're not hidden features, but that's just what this car's got with the timed climate and all that kind of thing. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and from me and the Hobbit, who's taken my cup away, it's bye for now.